Hi, my name is James Purvis, and this is my persuasive speech. When the well is dry, we know the value of water. This is a quote by Benjamin Franklin. He was a founding father. I feel like this quote really resonates with the topic of climate change because they correlate with each other. Climate change is a very slow process, and it's something that the average person may not notice. The thing with it is, though, when enough changes occur to where you can actually notice climate change, it's often too late to actually do anything. Rapid climate change is happening, and we need to take steps now to stop it. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, but now. Today I want to talk about climate change, why it occurs naturally, and the difference between global warming and climate change. I also want to talk about why rapid climate change is occurring and answer the big question on everyone's mind: is that a problem for us? After discussing these topics, I want to dive into real-world examples of what is going on and actually happening out there in the real world due to climate change, and what will happen if we don't actually stop it. Finally, I want to talk about what we all can do and simple things that we can make changes with in our everyday life to stop to slow down climate change. To start, it is important to define climate change. Climate change is actually naturally occurring. According to NASA.gov, published on May 14, 2014, climate change is a change in usual weather patterns. This could be something like rain or snow, and it could also be in accordance with temperatures. It is important to note again that climate change is naturally occurring, and according to the National Resources Defense Council in September 2016, the Earth has gone through many periods of cooling and heating before humans even existed. Some natural contributions to climate change include the sun's intensity, volcanic eruptions, and the ebb and flow of natural greenhouse gases. Now that we've defined climate change, I think it's important to differentiate between climate change and global warming. People tend to use these interchangeably, but they are vastly different. According to EPA.gov on January 11, 2022, global warming is just one of the ways in which climate is affected by greenhouse gases. Global warming is the effect of climate change. Climate change is a natural process caused by external factors unrelated to humans. This is not to be confused with global warming, which is the rise in global temperatures due to concentrations of greenhouse gases. The problem with climate change is when it occurs rapidly, and that is what is occurring now. Why is rapid climate change happening? According to Newsweek in January of 2022, more than 99.9% of peer-reviewed scientific studies and articles argue that humans are the driving factor of climate change. Now that we know that humans are at fault, what are they doing? The UN published an article in January 2022 that stated some human activity that is driving climate change includes deforestation, driving cars, heating buildings, and mass exodus of trash. Think about that list for a second. Those are all things that we really do without thinking about it. Now, to answer the primary question, is this a problem? Most definitely, 100%. According to Newsweek, published in September of 2019, rising sea levels, the mass extinction of species, and the spread of disease rapidly are all causes of climate change. Rapid climate change is occurring due to everyday human activities that we don't even really think about. Small everyday tasks that we are not even aware of can have huge impacts on our environment. Now that we have defined climate change, talked about why it occurs and the potential effects, I'd like to give some real-world examples of climate change in our environment. And for me, this was really scary because it was one of the easiest sources to find because there's a lot going on right now. The Washington Post published an article on July 22nd talking about England's heat wave. For 2 weeks, computer models teased the possibility of Britain reaching 40 Celsius, a level not surpassed since 1850. The unlikely model proved correct. Another example was published by AP on July 19, 2022. Towering waves on Hawaii's South Shores crash into buildings, businesses, houses, and upend weddings. The waves were more than 20 feet and were associated with climate change. The real-world effects of climate change are there, but we seem to just miss them. Jumping to the future, Time published an article in April of 2020 talking about potential scenarios for the year 2050. I would like to read you an excerpt for that. The first thing that hits you is the air. In many places around the world, the air is hot, heavy, and clogged with particle matter. Your eyes burn often. Your cough will not go away, and you can no longer just go outside. Open your door or open your windows. Instead, before doing anything, you need to turn on the TV or the computer and check air quality levels. As scary as it is, examples of climate change can easily be found in current events. If we do not make changes now, we could potentially face some harsh scenarios in the near future. Finally, I would like to discuss how we can slow things down by making everyday changes. There are some easy ways to reduce our own footprint and help the environment. According to the EPA, published in October of 2020, we can support local businesses. We can balance our carbon emissions by planting trees, and we can walk and use mass transit when available. These are all ways to make a huge impact. It is important to keep in mind the small actions we take in our everyday lives have a big impact on the world around us. Rapid climate change is happening, and we must make changes now to stop it. Today, we covered the definition of climate change. We also covered the difference between global warming and climate change. We then discussed rapid climate change, why it is occurring, and answered the big question, is it a problem? After that, we looked at examples in our world of climate change, and finally, we discussed ways as individuals we can all make those steps to make a change in the environment. In closing, there's a great quote by Jane Goodall, an English anthropologist. What you do makes a difference, and you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make. Our actions have consequences, and we have to decide if we want to be negative or positive with our actions. Thank you. Have a good day.